In today's digital environment, journalists face a number of challenges. The first has to do with just protecting their accounts from hackers trying to break into them, from people trying to harass them online, and in some cases, even surveillance by governments and law enforcement and corporations. I would recommend 3 basic steps for journalists to secure their work, not only with as they're working by themselves individually, but also with the rest of their team and with the sources that they are in contact with all the time. The first absolutely has to do with making sure that every single account that a journalist uses is as secure as possible. And what that means is never reusing a password at all on any particular account, meaning every single account should have a totally different password. Using two-factor authentication, or sometimes you're going to hear that called multi-factor authentication. And what that means is that combined with a really strong and unique password and something that you have, which is usually physical possession of your phone, you can definitely lock out any potential attacker from accessing those accounts. You might have email with your general counsel at your newsroom that for some reason, might be shared with your boss for compliance or to protect you from liability. But ultimately, you don't want the rest of the world to see it. So keeping that email account secure is really key, and also making sure that perhaps you add something like PGP to further protect that conversation between yourself, your general counsel, and anyone that you choose to add to that conversation. But email does have its limitations in terms of how confidential a conversation can be. And so there might be a totally different type of conversation, like something where you are discussing with a source where you're going to meet up for coffee to discuss something. Those are the type of conversations that you would take to a platform that is way better at protecting you, such as Signal or WhatsApp or Wire or even Telegram, depending on what's available to everyone. I do tend to notice that a lot of journalists do things like neglect to update their software. So they're working with computers and devices like phones that are a little bit insecure, simply because perhaps sometimes it's really, really annoying or time-consuming to make those updates. And so just reminding ourselves that this is really, really important, and no matter how annoying it's going to be, taking the time to actually do that will protect journalists very, very much more than they had been protected before. I also would recommend that people just take out a piece of paper and promise yourself 3 things. Ask yourself, what am I going to do this weekend? Then ask yourself, what am I going to do within the next 3 months to better my security? And then finally, what do I want to accomplish by the end of the year? Make that a list, put it somewhere, and just stick to it. Because ultimately, the fundamental key to security, I will say, is just organization.